Okay, I have returned again. Hopefully now this stupid microphone won't think, oh, can I quit? Quit again then, I dare you. But anyway, so I'm going to give this a little bit of time to float and get everybody back in here yet again. Bloody microphone. Of all the times for the plug to be pulled, it didn't have to be that moment. Till then, I'm just gonna float until everybody flocks back in. Because, yeah, I definitely was not finished with all I had to say. Because there's quite a. What in the world are you doing? Oops! I pressed the wrong button on that one, but oh well. So, anyway, where about this lovely nonsense again? That was the wrong one. But, like as I was saying, hold on, loading. There we go. Get that out of me, knife. Same with that. Flip that button. Go over yonder. Whoops. Scoochie Tushy. Boom. Yep, hello again, Kayla. And yes, I have the sound leave again. Thank goodness. And I already told the microphone if it decides to cut off again, it's getting, poked with one of these things. One of them I saw. Is it that or, Mr. Snip Snip, which is a pair of scissors. But anyway, as I was saying, get this over the under. Same with you. So, yeah, if it doesn't listen, well, I would actually make a loud screeching noise at it, but I don't want to make you guys deaf. And intuitively, a part of me just wants to be like, here, Angela. But anyway, so crap. Now I'm trying to see what you did, microphone. Now I forgot what I was talking about before. You decided to make me mute. I blame YouTube for this, but anyway. Yeah, but as I was saying, um, oh yeah, well, like I said before, the microphone decided to quit. The number one thing and the number one skill, even if you don't understand, can't understand, or not able really to do anything for the person that's in that mental challenging state, regardless of what the condition is, if you're able to listen and be able to hold the space, you're doing so much more than a good majority of anybody else in the mental health medical field are doing. Because usually, and I'm not saying this to, say that they're always wrong, because most of the time they're right, but generally, and from my own experience, not impressed. But anyway, usually the number one answer, meds. Without even saying anything, meds. And also those who are providing the therapy, it doesn't matter what the person believes, where they came from, their background, what they've gone through, what they use to cope, what brings them security, what makes them feel happy, what makes them feel safe. It does not matter what it is. If it helps them, it helps them. Don't be saying, well, you might be bringing in the wrong thing with that. If something provides security to them, You have no right to say that's bad for him. Good example. Because when I was in this was not when I was in that holding place, like that holding place, that holding hospital for 72 hours. But when I was in a low state and I had hell being more active than Norse Goddess, my matron, um, she was extremely apparent like all the time. She still is, but more than ever though. And I can't remember if it was the medical provider or the I can't remember, psychologist or whomever. Anyway, she or one of them, I just can't remember whom, but they were saying that is and hell, you know, just because of like her appearance and how she is, one light, another in shadow, one side alive, one side dead. Oh yeah, well, I mean, she also made me deaf for the night. Like, well, not the night, but she kind of made me deaf when she first spoke. Like, oh no, oh what, oh God, uh, up I went. Yeah, but anyway, and also because of her name, Hel, Hel, just because of the commonality of stereotypes. I can understand it from the point because of just how society has primed the word. Whenever you hear hell, how it's primed, the nowadays common, like um the collective awareness, to best put it. I can understand how it pretty much gives that automatic negative connotation. But the thing is, when you have somebody having a spirit, or even if it's imaginative, if the individual has that being or entity and it's helping them, don't say it may be a source of the problem, because that's what I was told. No, don't. No. If something helps them, let them have it. Let them do what they have to do to get stable. Don't tell them that what they're doing, even something like this, tarot, don't tell them they could open a portal for something bad to happen. No. You're now going off of a stereotypical BS thing from, the he who fonts are like, hold on. Well, even in that situation too, if you have a message from passed on and it wants to be said, if they're saying anything that's invalidating to that, um, that's heavy. And that's actually, oh, that, I mean, just seeing that really just gets me agitated because it's just like, so you're not giving recognition and not acknowledging that she's relaying a message from grandfather that he's saying goodbye and he's going to pass away. You're not acknowledging that, and you're going off with the stereotypical Lord he who font BS saying, "Oh, it's the son of the devil." So you realize that is just disgusting. You have a family member wanting to say goodbye, and you're saying, "Oh, oh Lord, it's the devil." That's all I gotta say. Just backhand him. In all due respects, but still. Anyway. Oh. You know what? At that point, here's the thing. And I mean, this is where the sassy part comes in. Oh, you're actually becoming hostile and threatening her to the psych board? Are you sure it's not you that needs to be going in to actually have some, you know, some kind of medication to help chill you out? Because it sounds like somebody has lack of self control and not being able to control their hissy fitting. Oh, that makes me uncomfortable and that agitates me. But a part of me needs to listen to it. Something's telling me to listen. I mean, that's all they had to do. If they don't understand it, it's not that hard to listen. Because God forbid, hate people like that. Agitating, very agitating. And I mean, in all honesty, again, I'm just somebody that turns into like a ankle biter, like an pretty much imagine like an ankle biter being like a little chihuahua, and it's trying to get a little feisty and take a big, you know, relentless chomp fest on some twat head's ankle for like say for example, like hurting its puppy or whatever, like the puppies of the breed. Yeah, Mama Dachshund dog becomes the ankle biter. Like, yeah, that's kind of like me right now. Well, she doesn't need to go to the psych ward. I think you do, dude. Because here's the thing: if you're going to be trying to say that she needs to go, and she's just wanting to say something, and you're saying that she's crazy, I never heard of anybody threatening their family member to go to a mental health hospital for something so minuscule. Come on, use your head. Chill. If you think that there's some disorder, no, 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 no. Here's a mirror. You see that reflection of you? That's where the disorder is at. Whack in the head with a mirror. And you could care less. But that's the feisty part of me coming in, being all like, no, she doesn't need to go. I think you might need to go see mental health and, get that taken care of. Because, yeah, I think you don't know how to control yourself. But that's just me. Next thing. Now, let's get into more of the. Let's put it this way. My significant other did actually have like a few years of his life that he did experience states of psychosis and experiencing pretty much coinciding um, signs of schizophrenia or any of the afflictions of that sign. Good. And actually, it's funny. It's funny you say that, Angela, because I also have Asperger's syndrome too. Twinsies. Who would have thought? All planned. But good. As long as the family, I mean, to be honest, they don't have to like it because nobody has to like anything, but they have to accept it, allow it, and still interact with you as a person. If they can't do that, let's try that again. Are we gonna understand that family's family and we need to be civil? No? Try it again. No? Try it again. Ready? Oh, good. That's just me though. Yeah, you can definitely tell. No nonsense. But as I was saying, my significant other, he was showing signs of like psychosis and some kind of disorder, like schizo related disorder. And keep in mind, when I met him, I mean, he did not show any signs of it. Probably the best way to put it is going to sound so cheesy, but met with it. Talk about pretty much having the wish come true. Ugh, I'm already tasting the cheddar in my mouth. It's that cheesy. But anyway, so I mean, he did he did use some uses of some things. It is what it was. It is what it is. But nonetheless, would it have anything to do with it developing the condition? Maybe, maybe not. Can't say. But there was some things in the past that he faced that could also too. But nonetheless, when it really started getting apparent, oh boy, here we go. Here comes the what's that called? The vulnerable part, I guess. How what happens? One of the most hardest things that you can ever encounter and witness and see is when you have somebody who you're so close with. I mean, for bloody sakes, is you know the other half of my head. I'm even trying to make it funny to make it easier to say, but it's not. When you have somebody that close to you, when you actually see them go from exactly what you wished for to now not being able to fend for themselves, like they can't comprehend reality. They don't know what's around them. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They're in a different state of awareness. They can't fend for themselves. When they go from functioning just fine, not a problem, and like wish come true, and when they become that, that is one of the, if not most, heart shattering things to witness because you, you first see them as like best way for me to put it is like at their best, and now you actually watch them go from that to becoming now to the point where you don't know what's going to happen. And many times I've thought I don't know what's happening with them, and I'm worried out of my mind because with conditions like psychosis along those lines, the number one thing to remember you have to know, and I know because I saw it play out in front of me. You have no idea what they're seeing. You have no idea what they're facing. You have no idea what they're hearing. You don't know what they're feeling. You don't know what they're seeing. You don't know what they're smelling. You don't know anything at all what they're experiencing. However, no matter what it is, no matter what they say is there, or how they're acknowledging it, no matter what, it's valid and it's real. It may not be real to you, but to them, it is real. And you have to acknowledge that. You have to. As much as you saying no, it's not there, the minute you start denying it and preventing and not going with it, because that's one of the biggest key things you have to do with these kind of conditions. You have to roll with it. You have to go with the flow. You have to. And dementia is somewhat similar. You have to roll with it. You have to go with it. If you don't go with it, you're fighting against a tidal wave. And that tidal wave will crush you every time. And I know because the best way to put it, I get crushed by a tidal wave. So bad that it actually ended up with him being taken and put into a jail for a day or two. And I actually got hurt bad because of it. But it was not because of spite. It was out of lack of control, and he did not have any kind of medicine on hand. So he's not at fault because it cannot be helped. But still, I fought and pushed back against that wave. When you fight the wave, you get crushed. That's just what happens. So you must go with it. You have to go with, to an extent, with what they're experiencing. But again, this is where you have to be so grounded and strong and being able to understand how to adapt and listen. Because when they're in that state, when you're rolling with it, if they start going, like say, hold on, excuse me, when they start going in a direction where it puts them at risk of getting hurt, you at risk, or anybody else could risk, and they're starting to go in that direction, roll with it, but redirect at the same time. Meaning, here's the best example. My significant other, we were in an apartment, and he was in a different state of awareness, and he wanted to actually go out, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning. He wanted to go out while wearing not much and chase after this thing that was what he was seeing come through the door, out the door, through the door, and it just kept bugging him that he wanted to go up and do it. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I did. Seeing it, not seeing it from my own eyes, but understanding and noticing it, that he was going with that perspective and what he's experiencing. He sees what he wants to do. He wants to go in that direction. Roll with it. I'm rolling with it. I'm walking with him and actually going with him and actually walking with him while he goes out that bedroom door to the left, goes to the front door, takes a few steps, like if he's following it. But before he gets out the door or even touches the front door, while rolling with it, he's going out, going towards it. Right before he goes to the door, thinking that that's where that his experience of that thing that's bothering him is going. Before he touches the door, I say, "Babe, wait a minute. I just saw it go this way." He turns immediately, faces me, and then he sees me pointing back into the room where we just walked out of. And then I'm pointing to the room we just left, and I said, "It just went right back into the bedroom. I just saw it go right there. Let's go get him." So he goes back into the bedroom, and then he goes in, and then he actually notices it. He goes along with the delusions and stays put in the whole room the whole time until he and I fall asleep. That's a sign of going with it, but you know it's a potential risk, but now you're redirecting it, but you're still allowing the delusion to flow. It's just like how with the river, like when you're making a river and a stream. The stream goes, but if you dam it, it'll go a different way. You're going with the flow. You're allowing the flow to go, but now you're redirecting it in a different direction. That is probably, if not the most helpful skill when attending to somebody with a challenge like that. It's very hard, but it's possible because I have done it so many times. So many times. And again, it is very hard to see it. But when it comes to situations like this, sometimes you don't have to like it. You don't have to, because that's not the point. I made the choice to stick. This is just what's happening. If he's stuck with it for the rest of his life, it is what it is. So what? It's still him. I said I'd stick. I'm sticking. I signed up for this. Oh wow. But I can also give some kind of a bit of a relief for everybody else. But ever since, like, he got diagnosed and all that, and just going at it day by day, he has made so much. He has come a long way. So long. He has improved so much that he's just come a long way. That's the best way I can put it. He, and I know it's really hard for him. And I mean, at times too, he's even said, "I don't know why you're still with me." But the thing is that I've signed up for it. It's part. It's, this is sound cheesy and cliche, but it's part of the job. Not only that, Johnny said, "Oh, you said you stick, Brett. Stay." Nope. Oh, you don't want to stick with him now because he's a little. Stay. But that's true. And I also have a friend who has actually been going through and also is diagnosed as being challenged with schizophrenia. He has a good lot of his friends pushed him away. I believe he only has his mother, I think, that's there for him. And I mean, I still talk with him and I give him the best support that I can, even though we're a long ways away, but still. I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing I can, and I'm able to at a distance, as I did with mine. The exact same thing. Even though I can't really direct him, the most that I can do is be there and just say whatever you're feeling, whatever on your mind. Don't care what time of day it is, don't care at all. If something must be said, and if it has to be said to somebody just to get it out, you throw everything in your mind, in your head, throw it at me. All of it. Do not stop until you get it all off and you're exhausted. And that's the next point. When you are using your listening skill, excuse me, when you are listening and when you ask the person to tell you everything that they're feeling, what they're thinking, regardless of how it sounds, even if it's about you, doesn't matter. When you give them that allowance to let all that out, you let them speak and you do not say a word until they stop, or you actually see them going like they're gasping for air. When they're gasping for air, they're exhausted. When they're exhausted, you know they're finished. Until then, you zip it, lock it, and stick it. You do not say a word. You let them speak until they can't. you let them exhaust themselves. Point being, when with everything that's in there, that's being held on to and causing these mental afflictions, once it's all spoken and it's all off, it takes a lot of energy to get it out. But once it's out, gasping for air, new air comes in. You're then able to then go in, give security, being able to provide that feeling of safety, and giving them the thoughts and organizing and giving them an action plan. When you do it that way, it sticks better. It may take some time and it may have to be spoken over and over again because it may have been repetitious and it's integrated. But after it being done over and over again, it'll be out. You just have to be consistent and just keep having it go out and out and out and refilling it over and over again with something better and more supportive. What's even better? I have not even spoken about any kind of medicine or medication or any pharmaceutical stuff or even herbal stuff. I haven't even spoken of anything like that at all. Not at all. Because at least for pharmaceuticals and medicine like that, that's a last resort. That's the final thing you do if it must be done. That is if all else fails. That's the last thing you do. Point being, pharmaceuticals have side effects that can be lifelong permanent. And there are some that literally take the emotions of feeling, kills it. And that's the last thing you want to do. You do not want to kill somebody's emotional side. Make them a lifeless void robot that cannot feel. Do not do that. That causes immense more damage than them actually having those feelings be spoken and acted. Making them a void is more destructive. And it is more heartbreaking because they just are void and they exist blank. That's not how anyone should live. That's like being kept alive when it's time to go. Nobody should live like that. That's not enjoyment. That's suffering. And that's a very serious thing. But again, usually the doctors just want to prescribe the medication. That's a last resort. That is the last thing and the last resort. Always listen. Always allow them to speak. Do not let them interrupt. Be patient. Also, something else. And keep in mind, this does also apply to people who have challenges with addiction. This counts too. Everything I'm saying, it counts too. It all counts and it all comes together. Now, say for an example, you have somebody who has, let's see here, trying to remember what that person nowadays type called or something, I can't remember. But you have somebody who is, for example, actually, this is probably even a better one than I was thinking, like a paranoid schizophrenia, meaning that every little thing that they see and everything that happens, they are mortified and terrified of it. The littlest thing evokes immense terror in them, or they can't even function. Now, when you have somebody like that, completely scared out of their mind, insecure, they don't feel safe, and they are like shaking, they're that terrified, all you have to do You do not even need to make any physical contact. You don't even have to do that. Here is what you do. Pretty much, you be at a distance, pretty much in a way where it's still within arm's reach, but you're in front of them. You face them. You don't say anything. Take one of your hands, put it out like that, and you hold it there. Don't say a word. You just do that. Don't say a word. When they ask you, "What are you doing? Why is your hand out like that? Are you plotting something?" Not at all. If you need it, my hand's here. If you need it, I don't care at any given moment. If you need it, you grab it. But when you grab onto it like if you're holding on to like the last pair of shoes that are on sale for 99% off. You grab it, you grip it as hard as you can. They may look at you a little weird like, why would I do that? I might break your arm. If you need it, you grab it. That's all. It's here. If you need it, it's not going anywhere. If you need it, you grab it. And when they grab it, like I said, when they grab it and they squeeze really hard, you don't try your best not to flinch. It's going to be very difficult because I've done the same thing too. It hurts. But this is the point. When you have somebody not stable, you give them the invitation and you give them that rock to grab a hold of, that anchor. And they're asking about what it's for, what it's all about. You tell them. You don't push them. You keep it there. You leave it there. You tell them what it's there for, and if they deem fit and they want to, they make the choice and decision to go for it. You don't put it in their face. No, that's going to set them off. That's no. Leave it there and let them know it's there. If they need it, grab it as tight as they can. When you're telling them to grab it as tight as they can and tell them don't worry about hurting your hand with a grip, what you're doing, you're having their hand come in, grab something physical, which is you. They're grabbing and holding on to reality, and they're holding on and they're gripping for dear life. And guess what that does? That gripping brings them down to earth, anchors them. And I can bet you, and I have seen this work so many times, consistently, it has always brought them down, got them better off than they were when they had nothing to grab onto. Something so small and so simple as giving them the opportunity and the choice and the potential, if they need it, to grab it. That's all. They get stable and it improves. Sometimes that's all that's needed. And here's the thing. When you give them that feeling of security and safety like that, you have helped them tremendously. You've helped them take the biggest step you can. Meaning, this person who is terrified of everything now sees you as safe. That's huge. Like, I can't even compare it. That is a big step. Because now you're breaking them out of that thought process and feeling of like nobody's safe. Somebody's out to get me all the time. I don't feel safe anywhere. Somebody's gonna find me, kill me, or anything, whatever they're thinking. Nobody's safe, nowhere safe. That you just gave them the biggest breach to that cycle. You just breached it hard. And now you're giving them that out that they need, finally, that they've been needing. That will do tremendous amounts of help. It will. I've seen it happen with so many people. So many times. And again, I'm not even a medical psychologist or a medical provider. I don't even have a doctorate in mental health or psychiatry. I don't. But what I do have is the experience, hands on, and being able to stop, listen, and just give the option and be patient and let them make the choice. Don't push them. Just know that the options are there. And whenever they get into the state when they need to grab, they do. Or whenever it gets to a point where it's questionable, just roll with it, go with the flow, but redirect it away from harm. Because the thing is, again, you're working with the mind. You're working with the moon. What's the moon? Water. What's water? The tides, emotions. When you roll with the tides and you go with the flow, everything just flows beautifully. It's kind of like a dance. But when you fight against the flow, you drown. That's what happens. Water brings life and is one of the most beautiful flowing elements. It's extremely graceful, but it can be very lethal. Like it can drown you in it. You have to know how to handle water in that regard. Is this whole thing easy? Most definitely not. But if you're able to listen, be patient, and have the understanding, and prioritize the other individual who cannot fend for themselves in the moment, if you put their well-being first, after some time and experience, you realize this is simple. It's easier. It gets easier and easier as you do it. Go with the flow. Be easy, gentle. Do what has to be done for their well-being, but still give them that sense of security and the grounding whenever needed. And that will do so much more than any pill or any kind of pharmaceutical measure could ever do. And it doesn't even, it's simple. It's just coming down to the level of like, this is a person who needs help and deserves to be given the opportunity to be treated as a person and given that attention like anybody else. I've also not been paying attention to the chat. I have my white screen up, so I'm going to take a look at the chat now. Sorry. Okay. Oh, hi, Annie. Yeah, I'm back live now, so let me see what I got here. Goody, goody, goody. Hey, glad, okay. Dementia. Well, dementia, it does usually happen with older, yeah. But dementia, it does kind of also give the state of blankness in a way. Somewhat kind of like being aloof. Schizophrenia may be somewhat more active, but then again, I'm not a medical provider and I don't know the concrete differences, so I can't really say. So, well, Angela will probably give you the better answer for that. Oh God, Angela. Oh, that pisses me off. Here's the thing. When you have a patient have Alzheimer's, dementia, the minute they ask you, "Where's my mom?" you do not tell them they're dead. No. Do no. You say, "She's out and she's grabbing groceries right now. She'll be back. Do you need anything left?" and wasn't coming to visit? Oh, I mean, oh man, if I was there, I mean, I would just say, come here. You know, the way that, you're responding to your grandmother and the condition she's at, and have to spit in her face. I wouldn't put up with that. She's like, really? No. You're gonna treat your grandmother like an animal? No. You don't get sympathy from me. Out of respect. So am I. So good. Good. That's what she deserved. Because the thing is, and here's another thing too. Whenever you have somebody that does have dementia or Alzheimer's and you know them well, like they're your grandmother or family member, this one tends to be the big one that shatters and makes you like crumble. The minute that they say, "Who are you? I've never seen you in my life." The minute they say that, the best answer, all you have to say is, "Who am I? I'm somebody important. Somebody important." Here's the thing. If they may not remember your name exactly, but the thing is, that's so simple and generalized. They'll maybe even potentially pick up saying, "Oh, that's somebody important." They may not remember the name, but they may catch, "You're important. You're somebody important." Tries to bring it back some way. And my significant other is much better. Always ask, Kayla. Always ask questions. There's nothing wrong. Always ask. If you don't know the answer to something, if you don't know how something is, always ask a question and trust me. There's nowhere, in no way in heck that it can be, it can bother me, make me uncomfortable, because the thing is, a question is a question and learning is learning. And a friend of my grandparents, a friend of theirs actually is starting to get into the stages of dementia, and your friend's husband is being very stressed by it, and it's taking a toll. But like there are times where she locks him out of the house and acts kind of like childish. I suggested. Here's the thing: when she does that, locks you out and goes at you, and you're probably thinking, "Why are you doing this? You're a grown woman." No, 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 no. You know what you do instead? You roll with it. You go with it. She locks you out of the house and does that at you at the window. Instead of being all like, "Ugh," go with it. Young lady, what's the big deal? Why are you locking me out of the house? Come on now. Oh, no, you didn't, young lady. Oh, you better open this door, girl. Not the door, Missy. Go with it. Roll with it. Let loose. Have fun with it. Besides, it's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna harm acting playful and going with it. Besides, she's doing that. Just roll with it. Let loose. Let the kid come out a little bit. Just all. Young lady. Again with doing little door locking and funny faces. Oh, yeah? Well, how about that? Oh, you're gonna be wishing that you didn't make that face, because, oh, you lucky this door can't open. Fine. I'll just go in the pool then. Don't you unlock that door, though. Okay. I understand, Angela. But that's a general idea when it comes to, like, with interacting with people with those conditions. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Don't fight it. Don't be in opposition of it, because it'll go over the top of you. And even when that same friend of my grandparents went on a cruise, they she got separated from the group of friends, and they were all looking around the ship for her, because they were like, "Oh crap, where'd she go?" She actually ended up being with another group of people in a conga line, and at that moment, everybody was relieved. But instead of actually going along with it and just redirecting her back towards everybody else, her husband just took her out of it. But that's the thing. You have to go with it, and you have to go with the flow. Just keep the flow with it going. Because if you do that, everything will be so drastically simpler. So much more simple. So much more easier. Be with the flow. As well. No matter what, though. Regardless of what challenge they have, dementia, schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia, psychosis, it doesn't matter what it is. Just you never know until you try. You never know until you try to ask. That's the best way I could put it. If I don't understand, I'll just say it back and ask questions to try and fine tune it. That's a bit of a weird thing that I just noticed in my left. Oh, well, it happens. But anyway, regardless of whatever condition they have and what they're experiencing, what they're feeling, regardless of what their perspective is, it's vital and it's necessary. But why is that? A viewpoint and an experience of what somebody who has like psychosis and what they're going through, what they are experiencing needs to be accepted, listened to, acknowledged, because it is real. It may not be real to you, but to them, crystal clear. And what they're actually are doing, they're seeing into a perspective or a different world of awareness, or looking into a different perspective that, who knows, what they're seeing may actually be another world, and they're seeing it. Just because the common man can't see it, and they can, either way, it exists. How do I know? Because they see it. Just because I can't see it, but they are, I have no right to say that's not real. It's real to them. So, because it's real to them, and there's proof of it from them seeing it, it exists. Okay, so let's see. You have trouble deciphering and explaining things when it's based off of emotions. So, is it kind of like, for example, you have a difficulty pretty much using logic to support emotions? Like when you're trying to use like reasoning with emotions? Or like because of how this person feels logically it should be this, kind of like that? Okay, so so it's kind of like if like the emotion doesn't logically make sense, you can't understand it. Kind of somewhat like that, or am I going backwards? Because now my Aquarius brain is like, oh, what's this? Let's figure it out. Because my Aquarius head's like, ooh, a new Rubik's cube to figure out. The best put it. That's what my brain thinks. That that's just what it does. It's like having the Mad Hatter come and being like, oh, what is this? Oh, yeah. Get it on my life. Lord, what is this? What now? That awkward moment when, somebody tries to send you a spam, like a scam email, and they can't even spell Amazon right. They put ANAZON. They forgot an extra hump. They forgot the hump. Oh, can't believe they forgot that extra hump. What a bunch of dimwits. No. Gosh. Oh, what if that is actually a part in their Zarna? Go figure. Hmm. Since it's 11 o'clock, I might take my leave here because I have to get up early in the morning for work. Oh, it is what it is. But anyway, I hope all of you who watched have learned something new. Oh, I okay. I maybe I might get it now. Pretty much how you're when it comes to like people using manipulative tactics and using emotional manipulation, it gets difficult to be able to see the difference, something like that. Because if that's the case, but, uh, okay, that felt a little weird. It kind of felt like the ground was kind of shaking. Okay, all right, Kelly, then yeah, you can just message me about that. But I kind of felt like the ground was actually kind of moving a little bit underneath. Like, oh great, don't tell me the Earth is going to be doing the shaky shaky. Oh please no, Gaia, love you to death, but now is not the time to do the hula. No, but anyway, I'm gonna take my leave. I'll be seeing you later, and have a good night. Go.